Today we're going to debunk 6 motorcycle myths that some people still believe in and argue about, with number 6 being my absolute favorite. So without wasting any more time, let's dive straight into it. With number 1 being that setting your tire pressure after getting a tire replaced or getting your 5,000 mile service done is good enough and it can wait until the next 5,000 mile service. When I was a mechanic for Harley-Davidson, almost every single bike that came into the shop had low tire pressure. I don't know how they didn't feel it, but that's something that should be checked way more frequently than just when you come in for your routine service. Maintaining proper tire pressure not only creates a better quality ride, but also gives you more traction, control, and stability on your motorcycle. When you're riding with a low PSI, not only are you causing your tires to wear more quickly, but you're also creating a worse fuel economy for your bike. By this, I'm meaning that because of the tires being underflated, it's making the resistance between the tire and the pavement much more heavier, causing you to have to use more fuel consumption. It's a really good habit to check every time before you ride, doing your pre-trip inspection, but I know not many of us do this, but at least once a week, check your tire pressure. Not only is it going to save you money and not have to replace your tires so frequently and cause you to spend more fuel on your bike, but also you're just going to have a much more enjoyable experience when you're out there on 2 wheels. With myth number 2 being that helmets cause neck injuries. Now, this is a common argument for people who don't like to wear helmets while riding. However, there was a study done in the years 2010 to 2015 at the University of Wisconsin's Hospital Trauma Center, where researchers had studied about 1,000 participants who were there for motorcycle crashes. It is worth notating that in Wisconsin, there is no law legally requiring you to wear a helmet while riding. The study found that 70% of the patients were not wearing a helmet at the time of the crash, with only 30% having a helmet on. The people who were not wearing a helmet at the time of their crash, about 15% of them suffered cervical spinal injuries, while only 7% of the people who did wear a helmet have the same type of injuries. With cervical spinal injuries aside, the study did find that 10% of the riders who were not wearing a helmet did suffer neck fractures, with that number being only 4% for the ones who did have a helmet on. It is easy for us to find excuses and evidence to justify the reasons why we want to do something or why we believe in something. However, the facts remain as facts, and helmets do protect our necks more than riding without a helmet. And I do want to mention while we're on this topic that DOT helmets are made with a shock-absorbing qualities that protect our neck from impact that would typically break our neck if we weren't wearing one. In the end, the choice is yours whether or not to wear a helmet, depending on the laws of where you live. However, the fact remains the same that helmets do protect your neck better than not wearing one. With all that being said, I'm going to segue into our third myth, that helmets block our vision. Now, like I just said, that if you're wanting to do something, you will find an excuse or evidence to justify your reasonings. Now, unless you're an owl, our human peripheral vision is on average at 180 degrees. Since 1997, the DOT has required for the minimum standard to be at 210 degrees for vision in any street legal helmet. With all that being said, on top of having side view mirrors and turning your head to check blind spots, there's no reason to say that helmets cause a lack of vision or in any way cause, do you have to have more safety issues with you having it on and blocking your vision. In the end, the choice is yours whether or not to wear one, but the facts are facts. The fourth myth we're gonna bust is don't use your front brakes. I have heard this said to me so many times when I first started riding, and I still hear riders say to this day that they don't use their front brakes. It is a common misconception to use your rear brakes as your primary braking system. Now, I can understand the logic behind this theory that using your front brakes can cause you to get airborne and flip over your handlebars. Is that possible? Yes. Is it likely? No. Current motorcycle designs put a lot of power in the front braking system. Generally, about 70% of the motorcycle's braking power comes from the front brakes. Those front pads have enough power in them to stop the force of momentum just at a squeeze of a lever. which can sound pretty intimidating, but it shouldn't be. Front brakes provide a better control and stability in emergency braking situations, since rear brakes have a higher probability of locking up. Now, there are instances when you probably shouldn't use your front brake, like if your handlebars are turned, and you also probably shouldn't grab a fistful of front brake as hard as you can, as this can create an unpleasant situation and cause your front brakes to lock up. Generally, in most cases, using your front and rear brake in an even controlled manner is best case scenario, since this provides the shortest stopping distance. I do plan to make a video about braking and the importance of it, as that is a whole topic of its own, so feel free to subscribe for upcoming videos about motorcycle and in-depth content. Now, I'm sure we've all heard myth number 5, that loud pipes save lives. I get the implications of logic behind this, that due to the loudness of your aftermarket pipes, it makes your presence known and helps drivers around you know where you're at. However, research has shown that in most cases, people don't know that there is a motorcycle near them until the motorcycle is already at an unsafe distance to avoid collision. You've got to keep in mind, we've got unfocused drivers, distracted drivers, loud music in cars, so it's easy for drivers not to be aware of a motorcyclist until they're right there in an unsafe position. Having worked for Harley-Davidson as a mechanic, I have seen my fair share in wrecked motorcycles that have come in for repair. And a majority of them had neighbor-hating exhaust on them. So instead of focusing on having a really loud pipe as a form of safety, yes, it is a cool thing to have. Some people like it, some people don't. But instead, on the topic of safety and keeping ourselves safe on the road, we should be more focused on the gear that we're wearing, being aware of our surroundings, and always working on our skill set. So in case of an event of an emergency situation, we can feel confident in our abilities and how we're going to handle them. With number 6 being added for lighthearted reasons. Gremlin guardian bells. While we're on the topic of wrecked bikes, just about every single wrecked bike that came on my lift had a gremlin guardian bell on it. Now, the reason people put them on their bikes is to avoid potential bad situations while they're on the road, or to get rid of bad spirits that are on the road. The intent of them is a really cool thing. They make a great gift that if you're on a budget, and they make a nice little decoration. But besides being a gift or a decoration, they are nothing more than that, other than a symbol of good intent. I've come across people who take guardian bells very seriously and very emotionally. And all I can say to that is ask you, do you believe in the powers of guardian gremlin bells? Do you believe they keep you safe while you're on the road? Feel free to leave your thoughts on that in the comments below. And if you have any suggestions about this video, feel free to share them. I do appreciate you tuning in, and until next time, stay safe, keep riding, and as always, I hope you have a great day.